What's up, Bird Gang? It's that time again. It's another Monday night, and another edition of the Kazual Sportz Show is coming your way to give you all of the insight of what's going on with your Arizona Cardinals and all of the sports clubs around the valley. And of course, we give you all of the Bird Gang news, and we are the only show in the valley that'll give you the Bird Gang news. I'm your host, Earl Burnett. What's up, Bird Gang? It's that he is Sean McConnell. And what's going on, man? Did you hear that?
I did hear that. That was totally on me, man. I thought I had it muted. We're good. A
Oh,
little bit of a
okay.
tape delay in case you start dropping F-bombs or something.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, but that's the man on the other side, Sean McConnell. He's, of course, the other half of the show, and y'all know this. So what we do, of course, we're going to get y'all into what we do on the Cardinal stuff. And if you want to hit us up and be part of the show right there on Facebook Live, we're going to be at our usual spots, of course. Three avenues: your Twitter, your Facebook, and your Instagram, all with the same tab, Kazual Sportz with Kazual with the Z at the end of the word sports. Look us up and join us and subscribe and go to our website, www.ksrnaz.com, and you can subscribe there as well. And make sure you download those mobile apps for iPhone and for Android. And of course, if you do that, you'll have the show right there at your beck and call. Live shows as well throughout the day, and of course, hip hop music playing all night. So, what's going on, bro?
Man, it was a weird weekend all around for the NFL. I know we're going to talk more in detail about the other teams on Thursday with the neutral zone, as we always do. But, man, it was a weird game for the Bird Gang. I was there. I got to start out by saying, I know you're going to roast me about this, but I got to start out by saying I left with 11 minutes to go in the fourth.
You got to be kidding me.
I'm not
dude.
kidding you. I'm not kidding you.
Come on, Sean.
No. See, here's
the
the thing. My babysitter had all four kids. They were going nuts. We also had to go run some errands. It was like, okay, well, I guess we got to go. I listened to it the whole way back. I watched it the whole way back, and I said, this is going to be the greatest game I never got to witness because I wasn't there for it all. And I said,
Sean,
I gave the Miami Heat fans all that crap way back in the day, and it happened to me. It happens to anybody. That was such a huge deficit, and they weren't doing anything, and I can't talk myself out of this one. But, yeah, I messed up big time, and I got to own up to that.
I know that was going to be on your mind for a minute.
Absolutely.
All right, well, apart from you missing the only part of the game that meant anything,
the only good part.
Let's find out what else is going on. So we got, of course, NFL's going down tonight. We saw a thriller, like I told y'all, on the neutral zone was going to be a shootout between New Orleans and Houston.
You called that one.
Yeah, that was a shootout for sure, and it was a good game. Also, the Raiders are playing AB-less tonight. One game into the saga.
They're playing a little bit happier than usual.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of other things we can talk about. Let's see. We got here I saw a story that I wanted to put up here real quick that was pretty interesting. Ninjas the NBA is stopping the dudes from wearing the ninja style.
The same headbands that the Cardinals coincidentally handed out at the first game. I don't know if you know that, but they were handing them out left and right. We tweeted out to Rashawn Holmes because I feel bad for him because he was the one that made it look good. It's a bad look for the NBA, getting a little silly with this kind of stuff.
I mean, of course, knowing that, they don't have nothing covering their heads, so it does look like, a bunch of sci-fi dudes flying around out there.
Hey, I would love to watch ninjas play basketball. I don't know about you.
That would be crazy, wouldn't it? Okay. Also, we know, of course, all NFL action that went down with some really good games and some really good upsets and some really good predictions came to fruition as well, like those Cleveland Browns that I told y'all was going to struggle. But
you were right on that one again.
Neutrals on Thursday night. But what else we got here?
Man, I'm ready to talk all Cardinals. I know I missed
the
best part, but
because because you missed the whole thing. So you had to go back and probably went to watch the tape and find out.
This whole show is just you telling me what happened in the game.
So
you
left the front row seats 50-yard line. Somebody went down there and filled them seats. I'm sure everybody started leaving.
Ironically, who could have actually filled those seats? A man who my wife got to talk to was Bones Jones, Chandler's brother, was there.
Is that right?
He was sitting about 20 rows back from us, so he probably took those seats right after.
Yeah.
But he walked down and said hey to Chandler, gave him a hug, a kiss on the forehead, and guess what happened the next play? That strip sack happened the next play.
Sack.
No joke. He got the brotherly love was the one to start that. So.
Well, we own Cardinals all tonight anyway, so everything else that's going down in the world of sports, you can catch up on us later on our website and all those things. At the same time, tonight's all Cardinals, and we got my man coming in from the AZ Central Sports. Greg Moore is going to be joining us tonight, and he's going to be giving us some insight on the Cardinals because, of course, he covers the Cardinals for AZ Central. So that should be pretty interesting, huh?
Absolutely. I mean, we love his insight. We love what he brings to the table. I got a lot of questions to ask him, especially about, do you think that this defense was good or were the Lions that bad late? Because
that was one of my questions too.
Because everyone's saying, man, the defense did good. The defense did good. But did they, though, when Matt Stafford almost just gave you the game in overtime? What was going on?
Well, no. That's kind of like a vague way of looking at it, though. When you think about it as a whole, the defense had them in the game. There wouldn't even be a chance to come back, first of all.
Absolutely.
And second of all, it wouldn't even be a chance to score on those last 3 drives without the defense stopping them. So I think the defense played okay.
Statistically,
yeah, they got run
over by the Lions, right? I mean, everyone had a career day.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of busted coverages and oh my goodness, yeah, that was kind of weird to look at. But at the same time, it was like a bend don't break.
Absolutely.
Defense.
Absolutely.
And they did look better on the run stopping.
And I will say this.
How's that we sure up the run stopping now
and we give
to
up
the point where and now in the passing we just can't guard a tight end for nothing.
I got 2 things on that. One, especially short in the flat, Matt Patricia just gave the rest of the league our kryptonite.
Oh yeah.
Making anyone with the number 50 to 59 in a jersey, if you throw to the flat and make them go in coverage, we're in trouble because we do not have a fast linebacker, and we haven't since Darrell Washington. May his career rest in peace. Now, one more thing I'd like to say about the defense, too, because we'll go back and forth on this, obviously, but the defense, especially when it came to situational defense, late, it was in prime form. It's not the best defense you've ever seen, obviously. It was more bend, don't break, but they still came up with plays that they needed to come up with. Suggs making plays, Chandler obviously making plays, having like the most amount of sacks since being with us in 2016 on. It's just been incredible what he's been able to do. So,
it's also pretty impressive though for those second string DBs who did make mistakes, but in crunch time they came up with some spectacular plays.
Absolutely.
I mean, Brock and Jones knocking that ball down the end zone, game would have been over.
Brock and Jones, LLC. They played well. They played really well.
Chris Jones knocked down a deep ball that could have set up a field goal for them. I mean, they were battling at the end, and they were going toe to toe, and they had an opportunity at the end. That reason why they're DBs because they can't catch. But my boy dropped the dang pick at the end.
Almost walk-in pick. I mean, if you looked at the sideline, it was open.
Think about that, though. Do you think he should have took the chance of actually trying to take that to the house? Because when you look at the tape.
You get a pick 6 in overtime, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that while he's running down that sideline, somebody catch him.
No, I know, but if let's say I caught the ball in overtime.
I'm thinking house out of bounds.
But like instinct reaction, house it.
Right.
Like take the game over.
Right.
That might not have happened,
but get your butt down because if you don't make it,
there's one thing we know about Benny Blue's Matt Stafford is he cannot tackle. So I think that was the only man that was going to get close.
Well, he can push. You right there on the sideline. He meets you at that goal line and push you out.
You're right about that.
Ball game.
I would have just hoped, like, if he did catch it, he could have done one of those little like hops out of bounds with like 1 second left.
Yeah, make a quick 10 yards and jump out with the 1 second left and make the field go easier or something. But is a second, or I don't know how many years he's been in the league, but is he going to really do it? I mean, think that day rationally real? Because he already told you what he was going to do because he said it himself.
Right.
I saw grass. I saw the end zone. He
Yeah.
was looking at that. He was going to try to house it.
Which is probably why he didn't catch it.
Right.
Because he saw grass and he was like,
right.
okay, we're
That's
good. Where's the ball? It's not
he
in
said,
my
I
hands.
saw grass. I'm sorry. Hey, I got to be honest. I just saw the grass in front of me. He was going to try to house that bad boy.
Yep.
But what's that Raider game doing up to this point?
Right now, the Raiders are beating the Broncos 7-0 with 6 to go, around 6.5 to go in the half.
Okay.
And Raiders have the ball as well.
So let's until we get Greg in here, let's talk about Cliff Kingsbury, because you're sitting in a seat at his back, so you really can't see him that much. But on the television, man, he looked nervous.
You think so?
Man, no, I'm telling you, he was flat out nervous from start until he got comfortable around where Kyler started to get comfortable. They both kind of together calmed down with the aid of one Larry Fitzgerald.
So that's super interesting to me because
It is.
his whole
It's very
demeanor
interesting.
in person, his whole demeanor was cool, calm, collected, like anything. Same with Kyler. They both seemed super calm. So shout out to the camera crew because they were able to find the right looks at the right time.
Go back and watch the tape in the beginning when all the corruption's going on and Kyler's he's inaccurate and we're down 17. He's got this. You can see a man that takes giant swallows.
Yeah,
and like he was like, "What's going on?" He was looking around like, "Is this what's going on?" He was like really nervous of what was going on because he came out as a coach trying to hit with his heavy hitters right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And as a coach, you have to set things up.
Right.
You have to get things to the point where the defense is starting to bite on one thing, and now you go to something else. He was coming right out trying to hit. I mean, the first play on the game was a bomb to the down the sideline. It's like, set some stuff up. You're trying to come out and show your offense you don't want to look like, looking bad that you said your offense is going to look like it's going to look. But if he had been calm as the way he was in the fourth quarter, that probably been a different ball game.
Yeah, and it's pretty uplifting to think that they calmed down in the fourth quarter, considering that usually it's the opposite, that you get a little either gun shy or gun heavy or too much this, too much that. So it's definitely interesting. But, for the first 3 quarters, I was starting to think Kyler might have the yips.
Oh.
He might go 4 preseason games and a regular season game without a touchdown. And I was like, okay, well, this isn't going to be a good start, but he turned it around and he found his first touchdown and he wanted another one, so he went and got it. Not a bad look.
When I saw looking at the tape and you can see Fitz on the sideline kind of talking to the receivers and coming up to coach like, look, it's not like he was doing the diva thing saying throw me the ball. He was like, it looked like he was kind of saying, let's just stay calm. Let's do what we've been doing in practice or in the practices where we're practicing on our own, because not where we can see anything. But let's do what we've been doing. Let's just see and let's just roll. It looked like he calmed both of them down. And shortly after that, it was pretty much, hey, we got to find a way to get 11 the ball. Right. And that's what the game plan ended up. And when you get him the ball, that just sets that stadium off, and it sets everything else off.
Not to get off track, but that's a good note for a certain player who's playing with the Patriots now. He should take note of that. But that's besides the point.
No, that's right on point.
Seeing Larry laying out for balls, and the second he had that first one, not the first catch, but that first big catch,
right,
the whole thing just turned around, and it's crazy that the Lions let us do that.
Exactly.
To say, I mean, I was talking to Benny after the game, and we both were just laughing. I mean, no team really deserved to win the game. Both teams played the game, and it deserved to be a tie because it was just one of those things where, like, the Cardinals shouldn't have been in the hole, and the Lions shouldn't have let him out the hole, and it happened, and that's why it's a tie, and that's what you get.
And hey, sometimes that's how football goes. You relax a little bit, and that's it. Now, let me ask you this: do you think that, because a lot of people are saying, like you were saying a little bit earlier, was it the Lions' defense that's that bad? But no, or did they get wore down? Did they just get wore down by the offense in the second half, or particularly in the fourth quarter? Because they were moving, they were going like a no huddle almost, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, 24 hours after the game, I definitely have calmed down my emotions. I think it was kind of a perfect storm of everything. It's the end of the game, the team's getting tired. Meanwhile, our team's nerves are calming down. Let's call it nerves for now. They're starting to think more clearly. They're getting a little bit more, I would say, like you were saying, they were setting it up better. They were really realizing like each drive how they were going to build the next play and the next play and the next play. And then they started to actually use motions in a way that was going to make the corners run even before the play even started, which certainly helped because you were getting the catches to Fitz and Kirk for the 2-point conversion and David Johnson deep, and things were starting to work better because they were gassing out other teams, and then the Cardinals were going no huddle and looked way more comfortable. Way more comfortable.
Right.
And this isn't really a story or anything that we need to talk about, but I was noticing virtually 0 claps for Kyler. So
exactly
that maybe that was all,
and there were 9 claps
subterfuge
by Stafford that didn't get a flag.
Well, that's just how it goes, right?
Clack, 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 clack. And we like, okay, I know he about to get flagged. Nope.
Flag comes out, everyone cheers,
the
and
heck
then
is
they
that
pull
all
it back.
about?
Yeah, they pulled it back. That was not cool.
Yeah, that was crazy. But that's a lot to still dig into with this game. I think Greg's going to be getting in here in a minute, but until he comes in, we're going to take a quick break. Stick around, Bird Game. We're going to get Greg Moore to come in from AZ Central. You're listening to the Kazual Sportz Show. Your man, Casually, with Sean McConnell.
Yes, sir.
Look us up, www.ksrnaz.com. And don't forget to download those apps. Stick around. We'll be right back. The Casual House Bird Gang, Earl Burnett, Sean McConnell, and we are talking Cardinals who finished with a dead tie, 27-27, after coming back from an 18-point fourth quarter deficit.
Undefeated.
The whole division is undefeated too.
That's true. That's true.
But we're still gonna wait in here for Greg to call in. So until then, we'll just shoot the breeze.
All right, I got something for you while we wait.
Go ahead.
All right, hear this.
Kyler Murray was red hot in his debut for the Cardinals. But rather than go for it on 4th and 7 to win the game last night in OT, Cliff Kingsbury chose to put the number 1 pick on the sideline to punt and play for the tie. Shouldn't the Cardinals be playing to win the game? Make that make sense.
All right, I'm a competitor. I love football. I love winning, so I wanted them to go for it like everybody else. But you have to understand, coming into this game, I don't think anyone expected the Cardinals to win. Frankly, we expected the Cardinals to be bad. So a tie is probably a win considering that they had a rookie quarterback starting his first game, a rookie coach who was a loser in college starting his first game. So getting out of here without losing, I think was a win for this team.
Man.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
Hot takes coming from ESPN, but what do
I
you
like
think?
that, though, because I was on the same wavelength. I was like, there's no way you go ahead and take a loss after all of that hard work you did to come back in that game. No way you take a loss.
But he was saying go for the win. So you're saying you're cool with going for the tie.
You don't take that loss. I'm saying as I'm looking at that play and I'm going, okay, go ahead and play for freaking. We got Greg coming in. Hold on a second. We will see what he thinks about this. But I think they should go ahead and keep that momentum going. And so we're gonna go ahead and go to the phone line here at the Kazual Sportz Radio Network. I got the man himself from AZ Central, the man. No nonsense, Greg Moore. What's going on, man? How you doing?
How about you?
You in the house, Greg?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
All right,
you hear me
bro.
okay?
Yeah, I can hear you good, man. I appreciate you coming in and giving us some of your time, man. I know you were at the game, both of them, and so tell us which game is really the Cardinals, the 3 quarters or the 4th quarter?
I hope it's the 4th, man.
Yeah.
Listen, what they've got to do is that they've got to be aggressive. Listen, Cliff Kingsbury, the way he got hired, ticked off everybody, right?
Sure did.
The guy comes in with a losing record. He was going to be the offensive coordinator at USC. Then he jumps the line and gets this big shot NFL promotion. John Gruden, Oakland Raiders, Rex Ryan, formerly of the Jets, formerly of the Bills, LaMarcus Joyner, Raiders free safety, and defensive coordinators around the league are saying, yo, forget this college stuff. We don't think it's going to work at this level, and we're going to blitz you right out of that thing.
Right.
So Cliff Kingsbury was in a position where now he's got to prove it to everybody. He's not just trying to make an offense go.
Right.
He's got to show that, yo, the new school deserves a spot. So this is like bigger than Cliff at this point, right?
Yep.
So what's he do? He comes out and he's too, like, I don't know. He called it being too cute.
Right.
But for me, I just wanted to see these guys be aggressive, right? So it's sort of like if you're a young guy and you go up to a new basketball court and you don't know this neighborhood and you don't know that park and you don't know these guys. Man, as soon as you catch the rock, shoot, right?
Exactly.
As soon as you get the ball, go.
Right.
So that's kind of what I wanted to see from these guys.
Yeah.
And I was saying early in the game, up in the press box, I was like, it looks like they're playing scared. It looks like the scare raid.
Oh man, scare rate.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got my man here, Sean McConnell. He's my co-host of the show, and he's got some questions as well. But to your point, you said you wanted them to just come in and just go. Did you happen to see Cliff Kingsbury's face at the beginning of that game when all the turmoil started? He looked a little. He looked nervous to me, man. He really looked really nervous, and so his play calling.
So that's what I keep hearing.
His play calling resulted in that. It just seems that way. So from your standpoint?
Yeah, no. That's a legitimate perspective. I've been hearing that. Okay. I did not see his face, right?
Okay.
And Cliff, I've been around him since he got hired. You know, the guy is smooth, he's steady.
Calm, right.
So if his face reflected any kind of nervousness, that would have been a departure from the Cliff that we've typically seen.
Okay.
But at the same time, you can probably understand it, right?
Exactly.
Like if that's your first time doing this thing on this stage.
Right. That's what I was alluding to, that the stage was really, you know how you finna do something that you really like standing up in front of the classroom. That was for me.
Yeah.
And that anxiety comes over you and you start sweating and like, okay, I know I got to get this right. And it seems like the play calling was that way because he didn't allow. It seemed like he did not allow the play calling to help the defense to dictate his play calling. He didn't let things develop.
Yeah.
He didn't let the offense set up something. Let Kyler set up something with something else, and then you start attacking.
Yeah, they couldn't get into a tempo whatsoever, right? So for me, I think what we saw in the fourth quarter was that they gave their playmakers opportunities to make plays.
Okay.
So, for example, Larry Fitzgerald, you spread these guys out. I don't remember if they were 4 wide, 5 wide, 3 wide, but Larry ended up in man coverage, and Larry hasn't been a deep threat for quite a while.
That's true.
But Larry is an expert on getting a step. That's all he had to do was get a step, and then sure enough, Kyler put it in a spot where Larry could get it.
Oh, yeah.
Boom, 40 yards down the field.
Exactly.
He jumps up, he pumps, he flexes, the crowd reacts. I was having a conversation with somebody about this today, but how many guys are there in the NFL who are that connected to a fan base where when they make a play at home, it can completely change the tenor of the emotions in the stadium,
Not too
right?
Not too many.
Crowd goes nuts.
Right.
Boom, David Johnson, 27-yard touchdown catch, and all of a sudden you got yourself a ball game.
Right.
So what I'm hoping is that Cliff Kingsbury and the offense just learned to relax, trust themselves, and let it all hang out, right? Like, and if it doesn't work, fail being aggressive, fail going fast, fail going hard.
Exactly.
Don't fail being cautious or trying to do it the quote-unquote right way. Just get after it.
Exactly.
Hey, Greg, let's switch sides of the ball real quick. T.J. Hawkinson destroyed the Cardinals. Do you think that Matt Patricia gave the rest of the league a little bit of a tip? Maybe there's some blood in the water with big men in the flat, because these linebackers on defense right now don't have the speed to go sideline to sideline. I think that might be a troubling start, which is weird because we thought the defense might not be able to stop the run, but it seems a little bit of the opposite on that game.
No, I'm sorry, brother. I didn't catch any of that.
Oh, you didn't hear him? Oh, wow.
No, we had an audio glitch. I can hear you just fine, though. What did he say?
Oh, okay. I guess he can't hear you, Sean.
That's all right. Go for it.
He was talking about the tight end for the Detroit Lions, and he said he was wondering if Patricia has given the league a blueprint that the Cardinals can't stop the tight end.
Well, so the Cardinals have had difficulty stopping the tight end for a while, but I'll do you one better. That kid's supposed to be the goods, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's a first-round draft pick, and he's supposed to be what we saw. And also he's got Matt Stafford. So I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot of quarterback to tight end combinations that are going to be able to exploit it in that way.
Okay.
But the book on the Raiders, it does trend that way. So I think Sean's really on to something because the book on them trends that way.
Okay.
What people are saying is that they're going to have a hard time stopping the inside run. Yeah. And if you think about what comes off that, if you've got a power running team, what do they also often have? A really strong tight end. One of the teams that jumps into my mind when I think about that is when the Kansas City Chiefs in the Herm Edwards era, the Dick Vermeil era, you know, first it was Priest Holmes and Tony Gonzalez, and then it was Larry Johnson and Tony Gonzalez. But we can do this kind of all day, LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates. Like, if you've got a dominant running back, you tend to also be able to have a really good tight end because those two positions play off each other so well.
Right.
So if the Cardinals have a hard time being physical up front, it also seems to me like the tight end is going to be an offensive weapon in the pass game.
Right.
I like that.
I agree with that. Okay, be honest with me, man. Be honest on this. 26-6, Cardinals are down there and they fail on the third down. Do you go for it there? Or do you stay with that field goal, which Kingsbury did?
Actually, I thought he should have gone for it. The field goal worked, right? It was smart. It turned out okay. But for me, I'm thinking like this. This season isn't supposed to be much. Vegas is predicting them, I think, at like 6 wins. Nobody's thinking too highly of their chances. It's not a playoff season based on anybody's preseason predictions.
Right.
So, again, be aggressive. Be crazy, be loose, be all the way out there. Go for it. Mix it up. Do some stuff you wouldn't otherwise do. And especially to that point, they hadn't been able to get anything going, so just go for it, right?
Right.
It worked out. Cliff made the right move. And if you look at the numbers, right, the analytics will sort of tell you, like, oh, okay, right. Now all of a sudden you can make it a 2-score game or you can make it a 1-score game versus you go for it there, you failed, and the game is over.
Exactly.
So my gut would have put me in a bad position. I'm glad that they had, numbers or charts or whatever that gave them the information they needed to make a better decision. Listen, man, we got to learn how to trust our guts, right? That's like kind of what put us in the positions that we get into in life.
Right.
But at the same time, you've also got to know what information you need to make a decision, and then you trust your gut. So I didn't have good information. I would have made a mistake in that spot.
Yeah, I think the start of that game, after him calming down, he got to see what to do, what was right. And can you imagine can you imagine what would have happened if we failed on that and didn't get that field goal? How much criticism he'd be taking as a new coach? He doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh my God!
I mean, he'd be getting really, blasted in the media if that's. But I think I was so
when
happy.
There were about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, and I tweeted, if they convert on this drive, if this drive goes the way it's supposed to go, the entire storyline changes, because you're 100% right. Up to that point, the storyline was, y'all fired Steve Wilks for this?
Right.
Y'all traded Josh Rosen for this?
Exactly.
You could have kept the same guys in here, and they'd have been a year better.
Right.
You actually set the program back. But it took for Cliff to go, you know what? Screw this. Throw it deep. Let's play some football.
Right.
And then all of a sudden things pop and they turn around. And again, man, it's just all about learning how to trust yourself. I can understand. Listen, man, I've been new in a job, right? The job I'm in right now is going into my third year, whatever. I can remember getting ready to write something, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm about to call this, and I'm like, dude, you're new here. You ain't been around all that long. Take it easy.
Okay.
Say it in a real cautious way. Make sure you're real measured. And that's kind of like the way I am anyway, right? Like I kind of tend to play it a little bit safer.
Right.
And so I can, putting myself in Cliff's shoes, I can understand why he did it. And then what happens? You get back down a little bit. You get beat up a little bit, and you stand up and you say, screw this. If I'm going out, I'm going out my way.
Right.
Right? And then that's when you actually start to have a little bit of success, man. And I go back to that analogy I used right at the top. If you go to a new neighborhood and you don't know anybody and you're the new guy on the basketball court and you're 10 years old and you're playing with a 15-year-old and a guy passes you the ball, shoot.
Exactly.
Don't pass. Don't dribble. Chuck. I don't care where you're standing. And every time you touch the rock, you go. And that's how you start to earn your respect, by being aggressive and trusting yourself.
I like that. Okay, give me your assessment of David Johnson's game, not from the numbers standpoint. Do you see David Johnson running like 2016?
Oh, man, 2016 was one for the ages, right?
Right.
I mean, if David Johnson ever does 2016 again, he's going to the Hall of Fame. So it's almost unfair. I mean, really, it's just like almost unfair to ask him to ever do it again.
Well,
but at the same time, it's like, oh, man, he sure did look like he could do it.
Yeah, see, but I'm not so much focusing on his numbers in 2016. I'm talking about his aggressiveness of 2016. He doesn't look like the same runner to me. It looks like to me he's a little bit tentative and having a problem choosing where the holes are. I mean, I looked on the tape. And he's missing holes that his offensive lines are setting up, and he's doing that jump skip and then diving and laying down. And it's like, I mean, dude, and he's falling down so easy now. Did you see that when he came out of the back? It was a flag that brought it back, but he got tripped up when he would normally come out of there stumbling, and he would hold himself up and keep rolling. So I'm just wondering, what is his issue? Is he still worried about being hurt, or has he got in his head, I got to get this 1,000 and 1,000, and he's thinking too much?
Well, now, so this is one of those things. I would compare this to, you ever have a buddy who got yelled at for everything? I mean, this guy couldn't do a damn thing right. If he took the trash out, it was the wrong time of day. If he swept the floor, it was the wrong broom. I mean, everything this kid did, it was wrong, right?
Okay.
And so what ends up happening is your boy ends up getting a little bit gun shy, right? Like he doesn't trust himself. He doesn't trust what he sees.
Right.
So in 2016, David Johnson had never made a mistake before because he'd never had the opportunity before. He'll get the ball and go.
Okay.
Also, he'd been in that offense a couple years, right? If I'm remembering this right, David Johnson had been with the team a couple of years, and then this 2016 ended up being his breakout, right? Then he'd been in the system. He knew what to do. So now this is his third offense in 3 years. He had Arians, he got hurt, he had Wilks, and then Wilks had Mike McCoy, and then McCoy got blasted out of there. Then there was Leftwich, and then Leftwich is out, and then now it's Kingsbury. So think about all those different offenses he's had to learn, right?
Correct.
Now, the offensive line has been piecemeal, to say the best. You've got guys coming in and out of the lineup. Your Potty's in, your Potty's out. Pew's in, Pew's out.
Right,
Mason Cole. I mean, the guys are getting hurt, right?
Exactly.
And I'm not faulting them, right? You can't get mad at a guy for getting hurt. The guys get hurt. It's football. Football's tough to do. So what I'm saying is now all of a sudden David Johnson's back there, and he's like, well, damn, where is the hole? Where am I supposed to go again?
That's a good point. What's that?
Yeah. So, but I think, though, if you give him a chance and let him get comfortable, I do think he's the same guy. I mean, you saw 27-yard touchdown, right? The guy just flat out got open. Kyler saw something, threw the ball. He made a play.
Right.
And you've seen, spots here and there where Johnson shows you a little something and you go, yeah, he's still the guy. So just, I think, let's give it another couple of weeks, and then let's let this offense shake the rust off, and I think you might have something.
Okay. So going back to the assessment of this game that we just watched, out of all the plays we just saw in that game, who's your MVP coming out of this game? I mean,
Larry Fitzgerald.
I knew you were going to say that because that's exactly what I had in my head.
No, it's got to be Trey Sherfield.
Was it going to be the defense as a whole, or just some of the DBs as a whole, or Larry, or certain,
Trent
Kyler,
Sherfield,
or Kyler, or Cliff?
Yeah.
Did you say Trent Sherfield? Yeah, Trent Sherfield on the special teams. That dude was balling.
Yeah, man, Trent was playing, right?
You're right.
Hey, listen, there were a lot of guys who did some things that maybe we didn't expect to see. I thought Hicks was bringing the wood on defense. I thought Tyron Murphy. I'm like, hometown. Right?
Man, he's got the it factor. He's got the it factor.
I like the kid, right?
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, so there were some things on defense that I said, okay, maybe we got a little something. Now, at the same time, they gave up 477 yards.
Right.
You just can't do that, right?
No.
Like, you just can't do that.
Most of that.
And then in the first
busted
half,
coverages.
Yeah, man.
Right.
In the first half, the Lions kind of could do whatever they wanted, and mostly it was exploiting that tight end. And, the offense was going 3 and out, so the defense was a little bit on their heels.
Exactly.
And then Chandler Jones gets a strip sack, and then the offense can't convert. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's stuff there that you would have wanted to see that go a little bit differently before you're going to pick an MVP off the defense.
Right.
Kyler, you give me fourth quarter Kyler, okay, I'll give you that. But, man, Larry, listen. This dude, when he makes a play, he changes the energy in that stadium.
The whole thing.
Right? I mean, I don't know too many guys who can bring it like that.
Exactly. I was telling Sean, I mean, he's sitting at the 50-yard line from the backside, and he can watch all of the sideline activity and everything. That's cool. I said, but on TV, you can see a couple more things. And I saw Larry grab guys together. He grabbed, like, Kyler. He grabbed the coach. He got together. I don't know if he definitely was not doing the diva thing saying, throw me the ball. But he was doing the let's do what we've been doing in practice. Let's go. And that's exactly what happened, dude. That's exactly what happened.
Ball and let's play.
And it looks like that the coach calmed down and said, okay, now I got to get into a rhythm of knowing how to get the ball to my playmaker. And it seemed like he made the offense go directly through Larry, and he took over that game.
And it wasn't just Larry, right? So it was Larry made a big play, so it was Larry first.
Right.
So that's why I said he's the MVP.
Right.
Larry makes a big play. Then what do? They finally run that doggone jet sweep to Christian Kirk. Where has that been? Then Kirk shakes a couple guys off, breaks the tackle in the backfield, and next thing you know, David Johnson's making a play. And then the next thing you know, they got the pick play in the end zone. They run the same play to the right, same play to the left. It's like, finally, man, you guys are playing like the dudes. Yeah. So, and for that reason, to me, Larry Fitzgerald is the MVP. I talked to Justin Pugh in the locker room after the game. Pugh was like, nah, man, it wasn't even the deep ball. Larry caught a short one, and two guys crunched him. He kind of got hit in between two dudes, and he popped right up. It was right around the 50. It was only a 3 or 4 yard gain.
I remember.
And Larry popped right up. And Pugh said when he saw that, he was like, okay, now I want to get going.
Right.
Because Larry didn't show any fear. He didn't back down at all. It wasn't one of those things where he kind of stood up slow. Like, no, he's like, let's play some football.
Right.
So, yeah, he's my MVP.
He led by example. Exactly. We're talking to Greg Moore, AZ Central, right here on Kazual Sports Radio Network. Okay, man, going into this next game, how do you see them faring defensively and offensively going into the next game with the Baltimore Ravens, knowing that the Baltimore Ravens just destroyed a JV team or a varsity team from high school?
So the thing I keep thinking about with that game, man, is that Josh Rosen went number 10, and then Lamar Jackson ended up going like the end of the first round. I can't stop thinking about that. One guy, you traded up to get him, and he can't get on the field, and he's on his second team in 2 years.
Right.
And the other guy looks like he's ready to revolutionize the NFL. Now, I don't think this guy's going to look like that all season. I mean, come on, man. That's greatest show on turf stuff.
Exactly.
Like that's unusual, right?
Right. Exactly.
So,
and he did all that without running.
Right.
That's crazy.
Man, dog, right. So this is what I mean to say. I think that the Cardinals defense is really going to have something to figure out here.
Okay.
But I think, if anything, the Cardinals defense might actually be ready for that because Kyler has a similar skill set. Kyler Murray runs around. Lamar Jackson runs around. Kyler's got a big arm. Lamar's got a big arm, right? So maybe it won't go that poorly, but the Cardinals have a lot. You hear about how tough it is for a West Coast team to travel east and how that affects their biorhythm schedule. We've heard about what Baltimore has done to the Miami Dolphins, and we've seen the difficulties the Cardinals have had already this season. So I don't know what the line is, right? I don't know what the Vegas line is right now. But I'm not predicting a Cardinals win. I am going to say, though, that if these guys play loose and play aggressively, that's going to put them in their best position to win. I don't think you want to try to dink and dunk and try to, play time of possession and try to keep the score low. I think if they want to shoot it out, you should shoot it out.
Shoot it out. Yeah, I agree with that, man. Hey, man, I really appreciate you coming in real quick. I know you probably got things you got to go do, but that ASU game that we went to on Friday night, do you think that that's going to be the tail? That's how this team's just going. This year for that team is pretty much just going to be not a scrappy year, but just a learning year just for the young freshman quarterback, and they're not really trying to go after the title of Pac-12 champion or whatever. It's just going to be a scrambled up trying to figure this thing out type of year for them, because that game just felt like, how can we even compete with anybody in the higher ranks?
No, that was scary.
Yeah.
Here's the real scary thing. Before the season started, I actually picked ASU to win the Pac-12 South. Kirk Herbstreit actually picked ASU to win the Pac-12 South. I thought that they were going to have 5 seniors on the offensive line, senior wide receivers, Eno Benjamin, and a rookie QB. And I figured, who cares if the QB is a rookie if he's got all that experience and talent around him?
That's true.
Then the next thing you know, you lose your starting center. Then the next thing you know, you got another injury on the O-line. You got 2 freshmen starting on the O-line.
Okay.
And the offense looks like it's got its wings clipped, like they're only running like half the playbook or something.
Right. That's what it felt like.
Let me throw out a absolute best case scenario, right?
Okay.
Last season, Coach Herm let things go for a couple of weeks, and then before the Washington game, he said, "Yep, that's enough of that. I want the counter, I want the power, and we're going to run the football." And that's going to be the end of it. And then ASU found its offensive identity in that way.
Right.
Maybe Coach Herm does the same thing. He goes, "All right, now, I haven't seen enough of that.
Right.
We're going to go power, we're going to go counter, and we're going to give our offensive linemen a chance, because then they can just blast their way forward."
Exactly.
And I think that gives you a chance to be physical. It gives you a chance to get a couple of wins. And you know what it feels like to get a win, right? Like if something goes right, then something else will go right.
Exactly.
Then the next thing you know, something else will go right, and the next thing you know, you win a football game.
Right.
The worst case scenario for me is Michigan State gets up early and it gets ugly. But, listen, Michigan State's got the number 1 run defense in the nation, and ASU right now is not running the football well
at all. Yeah. So
I'll give you one more thing to think about.
Okay.
Brandon Ayuk is a dude, and I don't know if we are really recognizing how talented that young man is.
Oh, yeah, I've seen.
If you can figure out a way to get Ayuk moving around,
okay,
if you can figure out a way to get Frank Darby that deep ball, Frank Darby will run up underneath anything, won't he?
Yep.
And then Kyle Williams is shifty out in space, so maybe
right.
You start running some trips formations. You start moving some things around. You start putting some pressure on the defense because they're not seeing these things that they've ever seen before. And then maybe, just maybe, you can catch Michigan State slipping. But
True.
I think what's more likely is that ASU beat Michigan State last year because it was 100 degrees at kickoff and it was midnight back east, right? So in Michigan, they're 3 hours ahead of us, right? So they come out to the desert. The kickoff is at 8. That means it's 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11 o'clock at night when the game kicks off. They're used to playing games at noon, right? It's 100 degrees. And by the fourth quarter, they're dog tired, and ASU can take advantage. They're not going to have any of those boosts going into this game. I don't expect this thing to go well for ASU, but I'm hopeful, for the local fan base that Coach Herm has a trick up his sleeve.
Exactly. I'm hopeful that those DBs continue to lock them down the way they've been doing. I know the competition hasn't been stellar, but they've been doing a pretty good job as well. So, but man,
yeah, for sure, man. If you lock people up and you only allow 14 points in 2 weeks, I think I take that.
Yeah, I take that any day. Hey, man, I really sure do appreciate you coming in, man. This has been awesome, bro. And I'll hopefully get you back in here soon, and maybe throughout the season you can give us some more of that great insight, man. I appreciate what you do, and let everybody know, of course, where they can hear you and get in touch with you through social media or whatever avenue you have.
Yeah, sure. It's Greg Moore at azcentral.com. I'm in the Arizona Republic several times a week. I write a race and culture column every Tuesday. I write sports every other day. You can find me on Twitter at Writing More, WRITING, Writing More, MOORE. My Instagram handles the same thing. I'm everywhere, man. Wherever you got a camera or a notepad or somebody's talking sports, you can find me, man. Just stick with me. Follow me on Twitter. Stick with me.
Absolutely, man, and we will, and we do. We've been doing that anyway. But just the fans, I mean, our listeners here, of course, knew you were coming on tonight, so I'm pretty sure you picked up some more listeners, man. And we appreciate you again, and I definitely love your no nonsense, man. I remember I just real quick saw you up there on the podium with at the sports desk with Bickley and the other guy, and they got to say it, and you were like, hold up. This is good. I'm like, this dude don't pull no punches, man. I'm like, okay, I like that.
Man, what I tell you, man, somebody pass you the rock, you got to shoot, man.
Exactly, man. I appreciate you, bro. Have a good night, man. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on, man. Y'all take care.
All
Thanks,
right,
Greg.
Bro. That is Greg Moore of AZ Central. Cool dude, man. Very, very insightful when he's writing about the Cardinals. He has a very unique perspective on a lot of different things. So
yeah, he uses the analogies like I do, and I love it.
Yeah, he causes a lot of havoc in the media world, but you gotta love it. But all right, man, let's go ahead and finish this thing out because I got some technical issues going on with my audio over here. So man. Couldn't even get you in the dang thing. That's kind of messed up. So it seems like every time we got a guest come in the house, our equipment starts crapping on us. So sorry about that.
It's all good, man. I won't hold it against you.
Go hold it against me.
I won't hold it against you. You're good. You're good, man.
All right, so let's get back on this game. Anything else we can dissect in this thing? I noticed that. The offense that everybody's looking for, what was Cliff Kingsbury's so-called? Where's that offense at? Where's this dynamic juggernaut offense that everybody's looking for? Where is it? What did you notice? Anything different or anything that would say, okay, that's a new thing in the NFL?
I hate to say it, but I didn't see any new version of the wheel here.
Exactly.
I think what everyone was building up would actually be his situational play calling, which is what we did see in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
He has the brains to use it when he used it. And like he said, it was his play calling that got them in that hole for the first three quarters because he was too much into his own head and trying to get into Patricia's head, who they also have a history back with New England before. So it was a bigger chess match than just a usual first rookie game versus another head coach. So I would say it's the situational play calling that is what he's been touted for, and so far I think that holds up. But as far as the offense goes, this is just like an air raid offense. So unless there's going to be other things that they're going to roll out for the Ravens game, which like Greg Moore said, is going to have to be a shootout. You can't just play it safe and cool here, because before you know it, they're going to be running all over you and calling fake punts just to rub it in your face. So you're going to have to stay on your toes on that one.
Come prepared. But I noticed one thing. I know it's not any different as far as, like you're saying, reinventing the wheel or what, and something nobody's never seen before. But I did notice the formations. We had 56 plays that were run with 4 wide receivers. So it's going to be pretty much a wide receiver, based pretty much predominant defense.
Yeah.
I mean, offense, I'm sorry.
Well, those tight ends are definitely in for blocking and blocking only, it seems.
Right. So, and since I had pretty much all the interview there with Greg, we can let you dictate where we're going next. So you got anything else?
Well, let's touch on David Johnson a little bit. I think I got an idea, one way to get him out of our radar as far as things that he's getting in trouble for with us, with the whole, dancing around the line. One way to get David in the limelight in a good way is to put him out on a route, right? And David seemed like he was nails on routes yesterday, and it was good to see him actually being used that way, because in McCoy's system last year, it did not seem like that was happening at all. I'd still like to see maybe a couple more screenplays, because we saw one in preseason. Apparently I have a thing for screenplays. I had no idea until this year, but I like seeing them, and I liked seeing the one that we had in preseason. I want to see a couple more of those, especially with some big linemen running downfield, pancaking people left and right.
Okay.
That would be awesome to see. But
overall,
I mean, it's great to have Larry Fitzgerald putting up huge numbers, especially in the fantasy game, which, by the way,
I had him on my fantasy team and kicked somebody's butt because of it.
I got another league where I don't have him, but I do now, because I benched Sammy Watkins, and it killed me. And so someone wants him from me, so I got a bunch of players in return for him, because he's like my third best receiver.
He's going to have a pretty good year.
It's a small league, so you can do it like these silly things like that. But I got Larry in the trade back, so hopefully this will pay off for me in the future. But
about going back on the David Johnson real quick, I would have loved to have seen him. I mean, and I forgot to mention this to Greg about his. We were talking about how he's running. Is he running the same way hard? An example of that was the play he did going on the goal line when he ran to the side, when he was running to the side hard and just tiptoed out of bounds or got pushed out of bounds. I think he should have lowered his shoulder, got aggressive, and dove for the goal line.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and it seems like every opportunity they had right then and there, that was your opportunity to just. And if you missed it, come right back and give it to him, powered down the middle, because it's like, what other way are you going to get rid of the pretty boy tag other than pounding somebody? That was your chance right there to do that.
Well, David's lucky enough that BA isn't on the team anymore, because the mental error checkboard is gone. It's long gone.
Man.
There was also a blitz pickup that he missed too, but I mean, I feel bad. We're railing on him. He did pick up a good one when it counted. Yes, I'm talking earlier in the games that I noticed.
Exactly.
I don't want to rail on him too much. I mean, the man had a touchdown. He had 82 yards, but we're giving him a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, so it's not a hard time really to me. I think it's just more like you want to see him succeed.
Yeah, I want 2016 again.
The way the dude is chiseled and built, and how he can do everything on the field. And to me, it just seems like he's lackadaisical. Like, yeah, okay. He comes back to the huddle like, yeah. All right, what are we doing next? Oh, you want me to run that route? Okay. And it just seems like he's not engaged enough and fired up like Fitz is fired up. Let's go. Get mean, dude. Run hard. Run like you're trying to hurt somebody. That's what football is for, right? Unless they prettying it up now where you can't hurt nobody, I guess, and he's running into that side of it. I don't know. But.
Well, I don't know. DeAndre Hopkins just RKO'd somebody today, so I mean, you didn't see him. He body slammed a defender. You didn't see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh man, we'll talk about that on Thursday for sure.
Okay,
but that's one for the ages.
The man, I don't care what nobody say. That's the man right there.
Hey, yeah. On a side note, he's not Cardinal, but he had a goal of no drops, and he had 3 drops in that game.
Oh, I heard. Yeah, now that I did catch. So. He had a bomb that way. It was kind of thrown late behind him, but he had to come back. But he still got both hands on it. Usually when he gets both hands on the ball, he catches it. But Man, I
It's
guess
hard to be
when you
perfect.
do talking, when you start talking about who you the best, you got to know mentally you got to back it up with a strong mental mind
Right.
and perform at the same time. And a lot of people struggle with that.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle. Baker Mayfield struggled with that.
Yeah, it's
I
not an
mean,
easy thing to do both. It really isn't.
It's not.
You got
not.
tons of
It
guys
should
that do
not.
one, and you got tons of guys that do the other, but it's hard to do both.
And you're hearing it from me right now. Mark my words. AB's going to struggle with it too with New England. Watch.
Oh no!
Watch. He's not going to pick that system up because you know how hard. Somebody go call Chad Johnson and ask him how hard it is to pick that system up real quick. Being a star receiver. Ask Randy Moss how hard it was to get in, finally getting going in that system.
Right.
That system's not easy to pick up. So watch him struggle, and let's see if he starts to act a fool with that team, which I doubt will happen, because he'll be out the door faster than whatever you could think that's fast.
That's one thing about New England, man. They'll pick you up at your lowest, and they'll send you right back out at your lowest too if they have to.
Sure wouldn't even care about it either.
They don't blink
twice.
Look,
how do you see him fitting in with them when they finally get Nikhil back, and they have already Josh Gordon starting to getting into form and getting into, they have everything they could ever want on that team.
And Julian Edelman and Demaryius Thomas.
What about I can't even forget about the inside guy, Julian Edelman.
And Demaryius Thomas.
And Thomas. So it's like, why do they need this guy?
And you never know when Gronk's going to come back. So, I mean.
Right. And so that's the key. I hope AB hears some of the good advice he's getting around the league. And if anything I could say is, dude, New England doesn't need you. They just wanted you.
Yeah.
They don't need you.
They
just
wanted you for one route.
You're a luxury to them.
Yeah, it's just one route that they could add to their playbook.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah,
so it's going to be a humbling experience for him, I think. But
I think so too, and I think if he's thinking rational, which I don't think he's been thinking rational for so long, hopefully something's not mentally wrong with him, CTE wise, because that could be something that he want to go back and sue Vontaze Burfict for.
He was on the Raiders. He was the one pulling him back from hitting Mayock. Did you know that? Vontaze was the one pulling AB back so he couldn't hit Mayock.
Oh,
now that's
just
how irony. Yeah. Go figure that Vontaze is the one stopping a fight.
Vontaze Burfict
ASU all day, right?
Peacemaker. He's playing the peacemaker. But yeah, hopefully, if he's thinking straight, thinking right, he knows all I got to do is be right, and I got a Super Bowl ring coming.
Right.
Or at least the best opportunity ever in your life you will be having. You know what? When I think about it, and everybody's got their conspiracy theories about a lot of these things, I'm thinking like maybe he did remember when Ed and I were talking at Neutral Zone, it seems like he's trying to force his way for this thing to mess up in Oakland. He didn't really want to sign that contract.
No, I don't.
And I feel like he knew that team was not good enough to get him where he wants to go. Now it's like, oh, I got a ring sitting right here in front of me. But all I got to do is just come in here, keep my mouth shut, keep my foot to the ground, and boom, I got a ring possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seemed like that, and then some players were saying as such that he was not in it from day one when he got there. It was just a means to an end for a way for him to get out and go to the team that he really wanted to go to. And if the Patriots are the team he really wanted to go to, he's either really smart or really doesn't get it because he just thinks he's going to get a ring guaranteed and he may not understand and have to buy into the system. I mean, you basically have to sell your soul. You put your soul in the soul box just like you do with the Spurs, and you lose your personality and your brand goes down, but you win championships and you get a lot of the money. So
exactly.
You have to figure it out.
Hey, remind me when we talk to Ed on Thursday to ask him about that. How does the league as players in the same locker room with that kind of guy, how are they going to react to him now?
Right.
Knowing what he did to that other team, you're like, okay, you just did them dudes wrong, man. They didn't even get a chance to, all in their minds coming into the season, oh, we got AB, and now you just stepped on every last one of the dudes in that locker room. Yep. How are they going to look at this dude in the league as a whole now? The whole league's got to be down on this dude right about now.
Yeah, and we're going to find out on Thursday when we go. Same time, same place.
Same time, same channel. You were listening to the Kazual Sportz Show. Earl Burnett, Sean McConnell, www.ksrnaz.com. I want to thank my man Greg Moore for coming in.
Yes.
And Bird Gang is getting better and better and better. We will catch you next time. Peace.
Later.